It'd be interesting to see what Josh Warrington has to say tomorrow when he joins us in the studio. Let's just check back in with the boys and see if they can hear us now. Hello.
Do you want me to
go on, you go.
Yeah, we're back. We're back. So, yeah, talking about Josh Warrington and Lee Wood. So, yeah, this, take nothing away from, Josh Warrington and his performance. I thought he boxed absolutely brilliantly right up until the finish. But it was the right finish, by the way, the right stoppage, by the way, guys. I think that the referee was in a situation there because that bell went right at the end of that 7th round. The referee had a difficult decision to make, and I think he made the right decision because it was a really heavy knockdown, and it's always good to let a fighter live to fight another day, and I think that was the right decision.
I do agree with that. I mean, in the moment, watching it live, obviously I was in the studio that night at talkSPORT for Fight Night with Adam Catterall. We both felt that Mike Alexander made the right decision, gents, and I think, if anything, when Josh comes in, you can say this to him, that in a way, like Ben Davison saved Lee Wood when he was knocked down in the 7th round by Mauricio Lara and he came back to beat Lara, which set this fight up on Saturday night. In many ways, it saved Josh from getting a massive beating in the next round. He was definitely out on his feet. Listen, he's a great warrior, and one of the reasons why a rematch does have veritas, if you like, and it does have resonance is because he dominated 5 of those first 6 rounds. He looked spectacular. Lee Wood looked in trouble against him, but what Lee Wood does have, Spencer, is an amazing equalizer in both hands and an ability to bite down, a champion's ability to win a fight in the 11th hour. He snatched victory from the jaws of defeat against Michael Conlan last year in the fight of the year when he was down in the 1st round, battled his way through a tunnel of pain and confusion and being dazed by Conlan to knock Conlan out of the ring in the 12th round. He is an absolute road and trench warrior, and that's what makes him, and I agree, I think along with Dan Aziz, the most improved British boxer on world level in the last couple of years.
Yeah, and Ben Davison probably deserves a bit of credit as well, doesn't he, for helping to turn his career around. Let's talk a little bit about Ben and Eubank and whether or not we're going to see a fight between those two between now and the end of the year. What was it yesterday that we heard? 33% chance? What do you make of it?
Well, listen, I think that there is a possibility that we could see Ben Eubank going on out in Abu Dhabi or somewhere in the Middle East. December the 23rd is the proposed date that we're hearing.
What look will that have? What look will that give the sport?
Right, from where I'm standing, guys, I think it's a terrible look. I think that all this mess needs to be cleared up before they're talking about fights and making a fight of that sort of magnitude. I think, look, if you would have talked about this fight before this Conor Benn situation had happened, Conor Benn would have been a huge fan favourite going into this fight if it does happen and this doesn't get cleared up, which doesn't look like it is going to get cleared up. I think that then Conor Benn, Chris Eubank is going to start the huge fan favourite in this one. I think that we're in a situation here where it darkens. There's a dark cloud hanging over boxing because of the situation with the foul test, the 2 foul tests. We keep hearing that we're going to get evidence of this and Conor's going to prove his innocence, but we still see nothing. It's one of those that they're throwing a narrative out there all the time that Conor's proved his innocence, he's cleared his name. Well, let's see it, and we're not seeing it, and it's over a year now. I'm not sure if we're ever going to see it. I think it's just one of those situations that they're hoping is just going to go away.
Sam, from my perspective, Alex, I spoke to Eddie Hearn yesterday. They are really pushing hard for December the 23rd. One of the reasons Eddie gave to me, and I concur with what Spencer's saying about the veracity of the testing system and wanting to see the due process and strict liability through to the evidence around the consumption of what's taken place in Conor Benn's body with clomiphene and not just jurisdiction issues in which he's been cleared at the moment. It's jurisdiction he's been cleared over. I spoke to Eddie, and what he was saying was the Boxing Board of Control appeal over that jurisdiction being won by Ben and his team is that hearing, the appeal in by the Boxing Board of Control and UKAD, probably won't resolve itself till late January, early February. So what they want to do is get him to work. Now, ethically and principally...
That's a bad state in boxing. It shouldn't be allowed.
I know. Ethically and principally, it's not right. But technically, they can't stop them. And that's why they're going to go to Abu Dhabi to fight. They won't fight in the UK because they won't get a British licence. The other thing about it is, now this fight is at middleweight, I think it's a horrible mismatch putting Conor Benn, a small welterweight, in with a very powerful middleweight in Chris Eubank Jr, who's fought at super middleweight. I actually think the kid's going to get a shellacking from Eubank, and he's not a destroyer and a knockout merchant. I think he'll get knocked around for 12 rounds. He may prove us wrong. Outside that, there's a strong move I'm hearing from my sources to put on Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk as well on December the 23rd in Riyadh. And if that's the case, we've got a horrible logjam on the night. And Benn and Eubank will get swallowed up by the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Wow,
we'll see what happens. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Gareth A. Davis and Spence Oliver. The boys live in Manchester this weekend. KSI against Tommy Fury is live on talkSPORT.